I used to work the night shift at a small delivery company in the outskirts of my town. I drove the same route every night. Dark highway, farms, lonely gas stations, the same tired stray dogs wandering near dumpsters. But one night in late November, something changed. Something I still don't understand. It was around 2:30 a.m. when my GPS suddenly froze. The screen went black for a second, then lit up with a new route, a route I had never seen before. A thin gray line. No road name. No markers. Just a single instruction blinking slowly. Turn right. I actually laughed at first, thinking the device was glitching again. But as I kept driving, I noticed something strange. The road it wanted me to turn on to didn't exist on the map, but it definitely existed on the ground. A narrow two-lane road, cracked and faded, going straight into a patch of woods that looked almost unnaturally dark. I don't know why I turned. I shouldn't have, but I did. The moment my tires touched that pavement, my radio cut out. The engine felt weak, and the air inside the van suddenly smelled like old dirt and something metallic. The road stretched endlessly. No signs. No houses. No life. Just darkness swallowing the trees on both sides. A few miles in, I passed a man. At first, I thought it was a deer or some animal standing near the trees. But as my headlights washed over him, I realized he was a human, tall, thin, wearing clothes that looked decades old. He didn't look at my van. He just stood with his back to me, until I passed him. Then I saw his face in the side mirror. He was smiling at me. A wide, unnatural smile. Like he'd been waiting. I sped up. The GPS repeated the same chilling instruction even though I was already on the road. Continue straight. Continue straight. Continue straight. No distance. No estimated arrival. Just those two words, repeating every 30 seconds. I finally decided to pull over. I needed to turn around. But when I stopped and looked behind me, the road wasn't there anymore. There was nothing. Just trees. Thick, dark trees where the road should have been. I felt this horrible sinking feeling in my stomach. Like I had left the real world without realizing it. I kept going. I didn't know what else to do. A few minutes later, I saw a second person. This time, it was a woman. Her hair was covering her face. Her head tilted at an angle that didn't look right. I slowed down just enough to get a better look. And then her neck twitched. Then again, like she was trying to snap it back into place. And then she lifted her head. But before I could see her face, the GPS screen suddenly filled with static. Loud, sharp static. Through it, a distorted voice whispered, "Don't look at her." I floored the gas pedal. The road started turning sharply left and right, even though the GPS still said continue straight. The trees felt like they were closing in, branches scraping the sides of my van like fingers. Then the headlights caught something ahead. A house. Old, sagging, rotting. A single porch light flickering. I didn't want to stop, but the van slowed down on its own, like something was pulling it. The front door of the house creaked open, and someone stepped out. It was the same man I saw earlier. The same wide smile. The same impossible stillness. He raised his arm and pointed directly at me. My entire body felt like it went cold. I couldn't move. Then the GPS whispered again, clearer this time, like someone was sitting in the passenger seat speaking into my ear. Do not stop. I slammed my foot on the gas. The van roared to life, ripping away from the house. And then, suddenly, the road was gone. I burst out of the woods straight onto a familiar highway, my entire van shaking as the tires hit smooth pavement. The GPS recalculated and just displayed my normal route again, like nothing happened. When I looked in the mirror, the road behind me was just a normal tree line. No dirt. No strange house. No man. But the smell. That metallic smell. It stayed in the van for days. I tried finding that road again. I never could. And sometimes, around 2 or 3 in the morning, my GPS still glitches. A gray line appears. No name. No markers. Just one instruction blinking softly. Turn right. I always ignore it now. I have to. Because I'm scared that if I ever go back, I won't come out again. I moved into my apartment during a rough time in my life. Cheap rent, decent area, nothing fancy, just enough to get by. The building was old, and the walls were thin enough that you could hear conversations from the hallway. But I didn't mind. I wasn't planning to stay long. 3 days after I moved in, I heard knocking late at night. Slow, uneven knocking. It was coming from the apartment next to mine, 209. I ignored it at first. Then I heard a voice. A low man's voice, whispering through the wall. Hello? Can you hear me? I froze. It was almost 1 a.m. I said nothing. The voice continued. Please talk to me. I don't want to be alone tonight. I grabbed my phone and checked the tenant list that the landlord had given me. Apartment 209 was empty. It was under renovation. So who the hell was talking in there? The next morning, I asked the landlord. He sighed like he already knew what I was going to say. Just ignore noises from 209. The place has issues with the pipes echoing. Or maybe someone broke in. I'll check it later. But he didn't check. He didn't care. And the knocking continued every night. Sometimes soft. Sometimes frantic. Sometimes almost playful, like tapping a drum rhythm. What disturbed me most were the whispers. You're home early tonight. I heard you walking. I can hear you breathing. Always through the wall. Always in that calm, cold voice. One night, I finally snapped and yelled back. Who are you? Silence. Then, do you remember me? My blood ran cold. I didn't answer. He whispered again, closer this time, like his mouth was right against the wall. I've been trying to get back to you. I packed my bags right then. I couldn't stay another minute. As I rushed out the door, something made me look at the peephole. There was someone standing directly outside my apartment. A tall man, head tilted, smiling, not moving, not blinking. I didn't breathe. I didn't even blink. After about 20 seconds, he slowly raised his hand and placed one finger gently on my door, right next to the peephole. Then he whispered through the wood. I knew you remembered. I backed away, heart pounding. But when I looked again, he was gone. The hallway was empty. I ran out of the building and didn't come back until daylight. The landlord let me break my lease without any pushback. I could see on his face that he knew something was wrong with that apartment. As I loaded my car, I saw the door to 209, slightly open, just enough to see complete darkness inside. Like the lights didn't work, or like the apartment was waiting. Right before I left, the door creaked wider. A pale hand slid slowly around the frame, but the face never showed. I drove away without looking back. Last week, out of curiosity, I checked the listing for that building online. Apartment 209 is still vacant, still under renovation. No new tenants. But one detail made my stomach drop. Under notes, the landlord added a warning. Do not respond to noises from 209.